Truth is, plumbing is a hard job. For one to succeed at such a job, they need adequate training and, most importantly, experience. But sometimes it doesn't matter when you have years of training passed down from formidable mentors or decades worth of experience, some messes can't be prevented. Here's a rundown of 10 of the dumbest plumbing mistakes and moments from around the world we could find. Number 10. Maybe call a professional next time? In this instance, homeowners, when faced with their shower head breaking, may not have wanted to pay the steep prices that come along with getting professional plumbing help. And so they decided to work on it themselves, using brown tape. Now, this may seem counterproductive, but the intricacy in which they decided to reattach it to the wall is genuinely awe-inspiring. Now, this may not be a permanent solution and will probably give up in a few days at best, but it was just mind-numbingly weird enough to work. Number 9. Snakes and stones may just break your bank account. And such was the case with Quora user Karen M. Shelton, who talked about their issues with plumbing and how they eventually managed to solve them. Karen, who'd bought a lovely 2,000 square foot house with her husband in 1986 for a really great price, started to notice the issue in 2016 when she heard a strange gurgling noise while loading the dishwasher. Turns out it was coming from the toilet in the powder room next door, and she knew then and there that it was a bad sign. Like any responsible homeowner, Shelton called a plumber for help, who claimed that the sewage line running along with her house from the street was clogged, and to deal with it, he quoted a price that was incredibly high and something she felt she couldn't just callously spare. He did tell her that it was okay to keep looking for someone who might do it cheaper, but warned that the situation needed to be dealt with quickly, lest all the toilets in her house get clogged. Then, Shelton did the reasonable thing and called up her friends for advice, especially other homeowners, who recommended for her to get professional opinions. These opinions unfortunately included even crazier hypotheticals, with one plumber suggesting that her house needed to be lifted with a crane since there was apparent cracks under the foundation. At last, Shelton called the first plumber back and asked him to go forth with the fixing. When the problem was finally discovered, it boiled down to the ground shifting over the years, forming hairline cracks along the pipes, clogging it entirely. Adding to that, the roots from trees and bushes from her front yard had started growing into the pipes and clogged it completely, and so the toilet or waste could not flow as effectively down the sewer or at all. The same plumber told her that he'd need to dig up the front yard and pull out the roots manually, and then replace the section of pipe that was cracked. And of course, all of that labor was expensive, but way less than the other methods suggested to her. As it stood, the plumber managed to pull out what looked like an anaconda root snake out of her pipes. Before you panic, it wasn't an actual snake, but with its girth, size, and configuration, it was deemed as an anaconda root snake by the plumber. Number 8. Waxing the sink? User Ed Campbell on Quora recalled an event involving him pouring melted wax down his sink. Now, to any ordinary person, this act might be perceivably and obviously insane, but the story apparently takes place when Ed was young. His father had just bought him a candle-making kit as a Christmas present, one of the kinds that make you heat your wax before pouring them into wick-laden molds. And Ed, in his probably childish impulsiveness, poured the remaining wax down the sink. Because as kids, none of us truly realized the mechanics of how drains work. Alas, when his father realized what he'd done, there was a screaming and anger, and the cement floor in their cellar to locate and eradicate the hardened wax. Number 7. A thorough car washing. Toy car washing, that is. User Christopher Hammond recalled one of his greatest, or at least most memorable moments of his childhood. You see, little Christopher, who willingly described this young version of themselves as a whippersnapper, decided to give his little red toy car a good old car wash. But instead of using the sink or a tub like a normal kid, little Christopher decided that his preferred method of cleaning the car was shoving his car down the toilet, not even surface level. Apparently, he shoved it all the way down, as far as it could go, as if it was the Narnia version of a magic toy car washing station. Understandably, when he told his mother of his interesting ideas, she was understandably upset, some of which must have had to do with the bill of the repair coming out to be around several $100s. After hours of work, the car was out, yet OP never got the car back. According to their mother, the plumbers were so impressed and in shock simultaneously that they had to take his red car with them. Number 6. A lack of space often leads to creative solutions. Are these solutions productive? Very rarely. In this image, we can see that someone, in what they may have considered as a stroke of brilliance, installed their washing machine right on the wall above the toilet. Talk about a safety hazard. The washing machine's drainage pipe seems to be connected to the toilet. The other pipe from the washing machine seems to be connected to the main pipe that leads to the sewers. But even if we disregard the obvious danger of such a design carries, imagine actually having to use it. Would you just do your laundry load after load over the toilet? And what if something falls inside the toilet? We can confidently conclude that this plumbing error is as tragic effectiveness-wise as it is aesthetically and design-wise. Number 5. Insanely creative, or just insane. There's a lot going on in this picture, and we mean a lot. As in, it makes you question why someone tries to solve a problem in such an elaborate way. This user did just that when they resorted to using a traffic cone as a makeshift toilet. And makeshift it is, with a custom wooden table with a wooden toilet seat and cover attached to it. The setup may not be the most aesthetically pleasing or even the most effective, but the obvious effort and creative of the DIY plumber made it an incredibly fascinating picture to look at. Number 4. Privacy's overrated. Or is it? For this next image, we could not describe the plumber's thought process or the thought process of the architect who designed the washroom and thought it would be a great design. With shameless disregard of privacy or common social norms, apparently the design includes 3 whole toilets placed a couple of feet apart from each other, 2 connected to the same wall and 1 adjacent to them. The washroom does seem to possess a singular sink, so we suppose that one's pro. But otherwise, we can't possibly imagine the situation or the circumstance where such a communal toilet would be of effective use. Number 3. The soaking socket. Set up in a children's school, we cannot begin to describe the multiple levels on which this installation is a problem. First things first, the metal water fountain is set up right beside a socket, and if that wasn't hazardous enough, in a school with literal children, the fountain head seems to be faulty, or at the very least powerful enough to lead to the socket's exact location, ironically enough. The carpet below seems to be soaked entirely, and since it seems to be permanently fused to the floor, we can imagine there to be a lot of potential for mold growth in the spot, not to mention blatant electrocution. This, to us, definitely seems like a court case waiting to take place. Number 2. Variety is the spice of life. And in this case, it better be, even though chances of that are slim to none. The image displays 2 sinks side by side, but that is where the similarities stop. The taps on both of the sinks could not be more different, as one seems to be placed in a conventional place on the sink. The other, however, hovers a couple of feet over the sink, installed to the wall. The question isn't why as much as what was built first, the sink or the tap. Either way, it's one of the dumbest plumbing errors, no doubt, as the splashback is bound to be insane, not to mention reachability issues for kids and such. And at number 1, before it was cool, flat sinks are now a thing. Well, that's not entirely true, since even those flat sinks are just barely tilted, leading to drainage. Here though, the damage seems palpable and unintentional, as the image displays a tap installed on the counter with no water basin. None. It just isn't there. And that's on the plumber. We suppose he may have just been having an off day at work. If you're already a plumber running your own business or just about to start and grow your own plumbing business, you must learn the 4 critical things plumbing business owners wish they had learned before starting a plumbing business, so you don't make the same mistakes. Plumber Accelerator has put together a free training video that you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your plumbing business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work, free up your time, all whilst reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you will also learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand and with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word of mouth and referrals, how to stop competing on price with other plumbers and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that will be happy to pay more. Click on the link in the description below the video. And there you have it, a list of the worst plumbing moments. Thanks for watching.